The Bethesda gods have decided to bless all of us with a new event that they pushed back countless times. That's right, the Big Bloom is finally live on all Fallout 76 servers and will be appearing at the top of every hour from May 6th till May 20th, but a lot of people still have questions about the event. I'm here to clear up any and all confusion and give you every piece of information you need to know about this event. Let's talk about the event itself and what needs to be accomplished in order to complete this event. And don't worry, it's extremely straightforward and overall a super quick and easy event to complete. The first phase of the event, there are 3 phases of this event, but the first phase of the event is just a collection quest. You just have to collect and deposit flowers spread across the little meadow that the event takes place in. You have to collect 30 crystal cups, 30 rad lilies, and then finally 30 Carnal Weepers. And of course, you gotta deposit them all into Susan's basket right by her little shack. Super straightforward, literally just a collection. The rad lilies are yellow, the crystal cups are like blue, and then the Carnal Reapers are red. They all stand out and they have little like objection markers on them when you get close to them. Super easy, you can't miss it. Now, the second phase of this event is to set 25 Overgrown on fire. Now, at first, I was a little confused on this. I tried just using, like, my plasma flamer, but you actually have to either use a flamer or a cremator or the weed killers up on her shack, Susan's shack, which are just Molotovs. Basically, just tag an enemy with fire, and you're good. You could kill the enemy after setting them on fire, and it still counts towards that 25 needing to be set on fire. This is super easy. Just switch to either a holy fire, a cremator, a flamer, or if you don't have any of those things because you're a low level or your build just doesn't use them, just go on top of Susan's shack, grab from the explosive box, and it will give you the weed killer, which is just a Molotov, and you chuck them, you get 25 of them, and you can pick them up as many times as you need them while this section of the event is going on. Now, the third and final phase of the event is a boss fight. You have to fight and kill Beelzebub, the giant bee of yore. It's supposed to be like a play on the devil Beelzebub, but this is Beelzebub. So it's super easy to kill. The boss will die in literally 1 minute. Just make sure when you kill him, you go up to him and you get the legendary weapon or piece of armor that he drops because it is a 3-star, so you don't want to miss out on that. That's the whole event. It's super simple and will take 8 minutes to complete. I actually had to run the event a few times in order to get enough footage for this video because just it's such a fast event. The longest part is probably the first part of collecting the flowers. Sometimes also the overgrown don't really like to spawn in during the second part, so just keep that in mind when you're going through it. However, though, it's extremely easy. Now, let's talk about the special event challenges that we're going to go into, and then also the rewards that you could get over the next 2 weeks of grinding this event. First up, let's talk about the limited time challenges because they're so easy and it gives you so much free score. You would be silly not to do them as fast as possible and get all of them done within 5 runs of the event. It's really straightforward. They'll be up on screen and let's go through them right now. So first one up is complete the Big Bloom Weekly Challenge 2 times. Super straightforward. Complete the event The Big Bloom 5 times. All you have to do for that one, guess what? Complete the event 5 times. Next up, kill a Beezle baby or Beelzebub during the Big Bloom event 10 times. Again, super straightforward. You just kill the little bees, and there are so many of them that spawn. If you're running around with a Tesla rifle or a Holy Fire, you will guaranteed tag 10 of them within 5 runs. Next up, kill an insect during the Big Bloom event 30 times. A bunch of bloatflies spawn in, and then again, the Beezle babies or the Beelzebub count towards that too, so just keep an eye out for them. If you're using a Tesla rifle during this or a Holy Fire, you will knock that out with no problem. Next up, complete the event The Big Bloom 1 time. Again, super straightforward. You just complete the event 1 time. Even if you have no idea what's going on or if you AFK, other people will complete the event for you, and then it'll count. Boom, done. Up next, this one you're actually going to have to try to do. Deal a critical hit to a Beezle baby or Beelzebub during the Big Bloom event 2 times. So again, you're going to have to go into VATS and use it. So if you are a ghoul character, a feral ghoul character, you are going to have to become non-feral to get rid of that accuracy decrease. So then you could actually hit an enemy in VATS. Or you could just switch to a non-ghoul character, go to the event, and boom, there you go. Up next, deal a critical hit to a enemy during the Big Bloom event 3 times. Again, this one you can't be feral for, just keep that in mind because of the accuracy decrease. So you're going to have to attempt to do this one. Not that hard though. You're just going to have to hit it with 3 enemies. I suggest you do this while going after the Beezle Baby or the Beezle Bub one also. So then you would only have to do those 2 and then 1 extra enemy. Up next, harvest a Crystal Cup, a Rad Lily, or a Carnel Weeper during the Big Bloom event 5 times. So basically just collect 5 of the flowers. Boom, this challenge is done. Should take you 30 seconds. You should be able to get this done on your first run. Up next, kill a Beezle Baby or Beezle Bub during the event 2 times. You just kill a bee. It's not really that difficult, so just keep an eye out for them. They're really common, and if not, you just get a tag on the boss, and boom, there you go. The challenge is done. You just have to do that twice. Up next we have kill an insect during the Big Bloom event 5 times. Super straightforward. You just kill the bees or kill the blowflies 5 times. And now finally, we have kill an overgrown during the Big Bloom event 3 times. This one's super easy. This you'll get done in your first time when you're tagging the overgrown for the fire portion of this event. Again, though, all of these are stupidly easy, and you would be a silly little goose if you didn't bang these out. It's just so much free score. Even if you don't care about seasons, you'll complete these naturally over time besides the critical one, unless you aren't a ghoul. But just make sure you do these over the next 2 weeks because it's just free score. Even if you don't care about the seasons, you could still go in, get some free atoms because of this event. So just keep that in mind. Seriously, you don't want to miss out on this. But this will allow you to get significantly more free stuff out of this limited time event run. So just keep that in mind, though. Seriously, these challenges I highly suggest everyone do because you could do them literally within 5 runs of this event. They're not difficult at all. Just the only ones you're going to have to really try for, deal the critical hits. So just make sure if you are a ghoul, if you are a feral ghoul, to not be feral, just to get enough critical hits to complete those challenges. Now, moving on to those precious rewards. Now that the limited time challenges are over with, let's talk about all those rewards you'll be grinding for over the next 2 weeks. You should see the list from DuchessFlame's websites on screen now, so shout out to DuchessFlames as usual and Nuke and Knights. Both of their links to their websites will be in the description, as usual, again, because the Fallout community is being carried by these 2 people. So let's go through the entire list real quick and then talk about any standouts. The first reward that we're going to talk about is going to be the consumable, the Gamma Green Tea, which is a 100% drop chance. And then up next are all of the flower crowns. All of them have different drop chances that you could see on the screen there. But for the flower crowns, we have the Candy Kill, the Carnel Weeper, the Crystal Cup, the Ember Gold, the Giga Blossom, the Glory Bell, the Glean Invader, the Rad Lily, the Sea Sprout, and then finally the Star Lace. All of these are different flower crowns, and the flower crowns are literally just a cosmetic item. You just wear them on top of your head. Nothing too crazy there. A lot of people don't really care about them. I really don't care about them. But there are a bunch of them. Some of them have a 100% drop chance until you learn them. Then some of them have a 7% and then a 3%. So they do vary on rareness. Some of them are rarer than others. But over the course of the next 2 weeks, you should be able to bang all of them out. If you want any flower crowns, these are the ones you'll have to go over. Some of them are going to be super easy to craft, and then some of them are going to require hybrid flowers, which we'll talk about in a second. Up next, we have the flower suit, then the flower printed sundress, then the Gamma Green Tea plan, then the garden trowel knife, the honey beast flower display, which is really cool, the honey beast tube, which again, really cool, the medium glazed pot. Then we have 3 new producing camp items, and they're the Pot O's, which is just a certain type of flower. So the Pot O Carno Weeper, the Pot O Crystal Cup, and then the Pot O Rad Lily. They all have a 7.69% chance to drop, and they are camp items that just generate the flower that they are specified. So the Rad Lily one will generate Rad Lilies, which can be used for crafting, but we'll get into that in a second. Then we have the small glazed pot, the Susan's Floral Secrets, which again is super important. We have the Wasteland Florist Apron, then the Wasteland Florist Sun Hat, the Player Title Gardener, which is a 100% drop chance until learned, And then finally, we have the recipe for the Black-Eyed Susan's Soothin'. The Black-Eyed Susan's Soothin'. There you go. Sounds a little bit of a tongue twister there. Got me on the first time, but we got it. So just those are all of the items. But we're going to go ahead and talk about some specific ones in 1 second. So as you can see, there's really not too many game-changing items, but there are a lot of cosmetic and camp items. Personally, I love the flower suit. All of the flower crowns, like I said, can be skipped in my opinion. They're kind of cool, but they don't really serve a purpose. Now, moving on to the green gamma tea, because people are really curious about that. Unfortunately, it's kind of useless. It's a cool consumable that's new. It produces a higher yield when collecting flowers, so it's really helpful during this event, and if you wanted to craft some of the hybrid flowers at your camp or something like that, because when you put down the pot-o, like rad lily or something like that, it does produce a flower, but slowly over time, so if you have one of these, you'll be able to collect more flowers. So it kind of helps with that, but those are kind of useless, and outside of this event, it's kind of useless. But like I said, I did just mention the pot-o flowers. They are really cool camp items. It's another generating camp item. It generates their specific flower, which again can be used in crafting some of the cosmetic items. And the new recipe of the Black-Eyed Susan's Soothin' that we'll talk about in 1 second. But speaking of the new recipes, as you can tell, there is a item called the Susan's Floral Secrets, which I talked about earlier. Basically, this unlocks all of the hybrid flower crafting recipes, which are needed to craft the new tea itself, the new drink recipe. So you'll need to learn this recipe plan and the floral secret plan in order to craft the materials needed for the Black-Eyed Susan's Soothin' actual recipe. So just keep that in mind. Now, moving on to the actual recipe itself, it's called the Black-Eyed Susan's Soothin'. It's a tea drink that grants the user 5% extra XP gain and 10% extra damage, which is actually really cool. But since it's made out of flowers, it's for all of you herbivores out there, so just remember that. Be a herbivore, take advantage of this. If you're a carnivore, you won't experience any of the effects, unfortunately. The effects sound okay and really cool, but the real pain in the ass is how you craft this drink. The crafting recipe is 2 dirty water, not too bad, 1 glory bell, 1 sea sprout, and 1 giga blossom. All of these flowers are hybrid flowers, which are crafted from other flowers, so it's a huge pain in the ass to farm a lot of these, and it will take new players so long to be able to actually use these effectively. My opinion, just stay carnivore, eat a canned meat stew and a mutant hound chop, and boom, you have a 10% extra XP gain and 40% extra melee damage for basically nothing. So if you are a ghoul, boom, that's perfect for you. You run around as a feral ghoul, you have an extra 40%. If you are a herbivore, though, there are significantly better options to get the XP gain. You could just have the cranberry relish or a cranberry cobbler or something like that. Boom, there you go. It sounds like a good plan, and it sounds like a good recipe. However, it's just way too overcomplicated to craft. In bulk, who knows, though, they may change the crafting recipe, or they may make the hybrid flowers slightly easier to obtain. I wouldn't bet on it, though, so this recipe, in my opinion, is going to be a huge thumbs down and a huge waste of time. Don't really try and go after it. Again, if you're a carnivore, just stay carnivore. I know that extra 10% of damage seems really nice, but there are so many better ways to get extra damage, and there are so many better food items out there to give you extra damage for whatever type of build you're going for. Now, before we end the video, I did just want to mention a few things. Firstly, this new event on console, at least, is super laggy, so don't be surprised if you're dropping a few frames when participating in the new event. That's why Bethesda had to push it back so many times. It's not really optimized for consoles. It's great on PC from what I understand, and on the test server, it was okay. However, on consoles, it is a bit laggy, so please just keep that in mind. You will be cutting down some frame rates. Try and use a non-explosive weapon, or try and use a non-particle creating weapon, like a plasma or something like that. Just try and run around with melee to lower your frame abuse there. I also wanted to mention, when you're tossing the Molotovs around, be careful. It's super easy to down yourself and die. It's happened to me a few times. The event is super quick, so you really don't want to die and miss the final boss because you lit yourself on fire, or so no one's picking you up or anything like that. And then finally, there is a small glitch going on when you get to the second phase of the event and you have to set the overgrown on fire. Sometimes they may not spawn for a little bit. It may just take, they start spawning in waves when she does her dialogue. So if you don't hear her dialogue, the glitch is happening. Don't worry though, it should fix itself in a couple of minutes. I haven't had the event time out because of it. Just taken some extra time, like an extra minute or so. So just keep that in mind. If you don't see too many overgrown during that phase, it's probably glitched out, and it will continue to run as normal once she says her dialogue. Just give it a minute. Don't freak out and don't leave. Just keep that in mind. So this event is pretty glitchy and laggy. It's Bethesda. It just works, but just keep that in mind. And there we have it, ladies and gents of the Wasteland. We've made it to the end of another Fallout 76 video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this video was helpful for you. Make sure you complete all the limited time event challenges for some free score, and make sure you grind this event as much as possible for some decent legendaries and all of those new plants. Again, on the top of every hour from May 6th to May 20th, it will be live in the Wasteland, so please do not miss it. Grind this as much as you can. I wouldn't really suggest AFKing it just because the plans aren't really worth it, just like unlike Fashnacht. So just keep that in mind. However, some people are going to AFK it, so you may have to grind a little bit. Thank God this event is pretty easy and straightforward. But, as always, I appreciate you motherfuckers for watching this motherfucking video, and I will see you out there in the Wasteland. Just make sure, again, that you're completing this event every hour on the hour, May 5th, or May 6th, excuse me, to May 20th. And then, again, you'll want to complete all of those limited time challenges. Don't miss out on all of that free score.